Hi, welcome back to Bare Grounds Homestead. It is the end of January and the snow has melted, and even though we're still in January, we're looking forward to the spring season, and that means getting our garden beds ready for planting in the spring. I have gathered up some of our free leaves that we have in our yard, and I'm going to shred them up. And we got this cheap shredder off of Amazon 5 years ago, I think. Maybe almost 6 years ago. And we're just going to shred the leaves, and it helps break down. The first year, it had to be 5 years. First year we didn't shred the leaves, and we realized when we threw the leaves whole into the bottom of our beds, because I like to do the lasagna method, the leaves don't get a chance to break down very well. Instead, what they do is they flatten and they make like a shingle effect and compact, and they don't allow air to get in there and to help break down the process. So when you shred them up finer, they're smaller, they break down faster. So we're going to shred the leaves up, and we're going to put them on a layer in our garden bed, along with some rabbit manure and hay that has fallen out of the bottom of their cages. So we're going to put that down, a layer of our leaves down, shredded leaves. We're going to put some bone meal and some blood meal down. I have not used those things in the past until last year. Last year I used bone meal and blood meal in my pepper bed and in my tomato bed, and I had the best crop of tomatoes, and I actually had a huge, bountiful crop of peppers last year. So we're going to do that again. You get great results on one year, you try and mimic the same thing next year. So this is why we're amending the beds with the things that we did last year, plus we're going to add the bone meal and the blood meal in there, and that will give it time to shape down. I filled up, I have 3 of these bags, 2 are smaller. I filled up my bags, and today's a little breezy. I did this yesterday late evening, trying to get in the last little bit of light I could. But I want to empty out a bag, put it on the tarp, and then I'll put this inside of the bag so that when I shred it in, it just goes into the bag. It's just easier to assemble. But yesterday I was in a hurry and wanted to get it done. So, and because it's breezy, I might actually put it in the wheelbarrow and then feed it through that way. So we'll see. We'll see how this works. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. And now I have everybody coming and hanging out. Real quick, you can see inside there. It's just weed eater string, and you just pile them in the shredder. The weed eater string just breaks it down. They fall through the holes in the bottom. Just try not to get big sticks and things like that in there. Trying to do as less bending as possible. Trying to work smarter, not harder, but sometimes it just is what it is. we've got one of those barrels filled up. One of those bags, I mean. This is maybe a third, quarter of the way full, so it's going to take me a lot more bags to at least get one bag, but it will go pretty far in the garden. So I'll show you what the finished product looks like, and then we'll move over to the garden. I'll spare y'all the trouble watching me shred all these. So we got those 3 bags, and they've almost filled up this one bag. So we're going to clean out the stuff that's inside here, and I'll show you what the shredded leaves look like, and then we'll move to the garden and get busy in there. Oh, before I put my hands in here, I'm unplugging it. I'm unplugging it. You never want to have your hands in something that a curious kid can come around and turn it on. So, it's unplugged. There's no way it can start up. No way it can turn on. No Christine things happening. Shake out the last little bit. Put that in there. Pull this out. Oh, it's dusty, pollen and everything, but this right here is our finished product. And as you can tell, I mean, they're shredded up pretty well. There's a couple little sticks in here. Nothing too big, nothing too crazy. But that will break down in the garden also. So, all right, let's move to the garden. So we're in the garden, and I had to get rid of the jacket. It's 50 degrees out today, but it is warm in the sun, especially when you're moving. I also got an old t-shirt that's been used as a rag. I'm going to use it as a mask only because I don't want the bone meal or the blood meal getting in my lungs. But after I shredded those leaves, and I wasn't wearing a mask when I did it, I went inside to get my knife and a couple other things, and I started having a huge sneeze attack because of all the dust. So just to eliminate that for the rest of the day, definitely don't need to get sick right now. I'm going to be using my mask to keep the dust out, just eliminate crap going in my lungs, and we'll get this garden situated. So I just covered this up yesterday. Just because, not for any particular reason. Oh, and as you can see, this bucket's full of ice and water. I mean, it's still frozen pretty good. But I put in these 2 beds. I got the some of the rabbit manure with some of their straw, and I laid it in there. Here last winter, we decided that we were expanding our garden. So in this area, we actually had straw bale. We tried doing the straw bale garden method. It didn't work, but I think it was because we didn't have the water. We didn't have drip lines to it. I just manually watered it, and I think I didn't do a very good job at that. However, the raised bed gardening method has always worked for me, so that's what I wanted to do. I knew I could get more in there. I didn't have to worry about things breaking down. I didn't have to worry about moving stuff around later. This will never be an in-ground garden here, except for the strawberries that have run amok, but that was not by my doing. So we refilled all the beds. We tore out the beds that we did have. We redid them, replaced them with metal, built these 2 wooden ones, built another 3rd wooden one, and then went all around the perimeter with a small, for my herbs or perennials, things like that. Things that I didn't want taking up the food space, but that are used as food, if that makes sense, or medicine. So we filled them up with what we had. Those resources have broken down. We definitely have to add more to them to build up those nutrients again, and to build out the layers of the earth so that the plants have something to put the roots in. As you can tell, even with this is probably about 2 inches on top. They're broke down. They were almost full, and they broke down to less than half. So when the spring comes and we can get the soil that we can get in here, we're going to put more soil in as we get the money to do that. That's a huge investment, so I try to do as much as we can naturally with the resources we have, the leaves, the rabbit manure, the straw from the rabbit manure, it goes underneath their cages. It helps catch the urine. It helps just make it more clean and less smelly, especially because there's a lot of moisture in there. But try and use as much free resources as we can. We do our own compost. That will also go in here. We got our bag of our shredded leaves. We got a bag of earthworm compost, earthworm castings. We got a bag of our bone meal. We got a bag of our blood meal. It doesn't take a lot. It takes just a little bit. However, we want to do this now in January so that when we plant in as early as March, we could plant some things. From March on, the beds will be ready, the nutrients will be there, and they'll be ready to go for the whole growing season. So let's get this open. By the way, all of this is the Earth Science brand. That's just what they have at my local Tractor Supply. We're not sponsored by them. We're not affiliated with them in any way. It's just the brand that I like because it's organic and a little bit goes a long way. And this is what I used last year and it worked really well. So, all right, let's see here. It says 3 cups per 100 square feet, or half a tablespoon per plant near drip line for best results. Water in. We don't need to water in because this is going to sit. It's going to get watered by the rain. And these are 3 by 7. So there's not a lot of, there's 21 square feet. We're not going to need very much to go in here. We're probably going to need like half a cup if that. Earthworm castings. I used to have a vermicompost. I really enjoyed it. I did not know much about it. The wintertime came and we brought it inside, and that's where my problem lies. We heat with a wood stove, so it dries things out a lot, and you have to keep it wet. I wasn't very consistent with that. Something I do want to get back into in the future, but right now it's just not feasible. So in the meantime, I'll just get the earthworm castings. Now that we got all of those done, we'll put on our layer of our leaves and we'll wet everything down, get that nice and wet. That'll help keep the bone meal from blowing away, help keep the blood meal from blowing away, help keep everything in. And again, I'm not particular with mixing anything in. It will all get watered in. It will all go to where it needs to go. We have got lots of earthworms in all of our beds that will break all of this stuff down over the course of the next 2.5, 3 months. So I'm not concerned with that either. Put some more leaves in here till it's full to the top. Once the worms and all the good bacteria and everything start doing their thing, this will break down some more and it'll shrink down. You want to come in? Come on. Come on, kitty kitty. Come on, kitty kitty. Got my garden friend out here. She likes to hang out with me whenever I'm in the garden. I actually got a couple of them. A couple of our cats. I wonder if we can get our hose to work. We'll see. water. Might not be a lot, but that's okay. It's all gravity fed. This isn't on a hose. This is rainwater that we've harvested. And snow melt from the roof. As I'm watering in, I start thinking of all the things that need to get done in the upcoming season to prepare for the gardening season. Once March hits, from March until about June, it's in the garden here and there because you're getting things ready, but you're planting things, then you're waiting things to grow. And as soon as June, July hits, it is full on until September while you're harvesting. Anyways, though, hope you guys like this episode of Fairgrounds Homestead. I know it wasn't super exciting, but if you like content like this and it gives you an idea on how we do things, if you like it and you want to see more, please hit like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. Maybe you have a better way of doing things. Maybe I can learn something from you. I'd appreciate to hear it. Y'all take care.